Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Anna, Alchemist of the Arts here. Whether you are new or whether you are returning, them welcome. As always, please know that my readings are always intended to be a read of the current energy in this present moment. Time is incredibly fluid and you are incredibly powerful. So please take this as a read of the current energy, as a gauge of where you are right now. And I intend that it helps you to make the most empowered decisions moving forwards, to choose and create the life that you want. So we have 3 piles to choose from today. Pile 1 is this clear quartz cluster. Pile 2 is this piece of clear quartz. And pile 3 is this piece of clear quartz, which is wrapped. It's a pendant. So as always, take a moment, allow your intuition to settle and tune into whichever pile you feel called to. All of the timestamps are below, and as always, private readings are available. All of my information is in the description box below, so please feel free to get in contact if you would like to. I'll see you in your readings. Hi there, pile 1. If you were drawn to this piece of clear quartz today, then this is your reading. As always, my readings are intended to be a read of the current energy and designed to give you the tools and information you need to make the most empowered decisions you can moving forwards. You are incredibly powerful, and time is fluid. So please do not take anything as a hard prediction or fact in your reality. You have a lot of power. Okay. So we're going to take a look at these oracle cards first. I'm going to do some tarot, I'm going to do some runes, I'm going to see whatever I feel called to. And the theme of this reading today is going to be messages that I need to hear right now. So, okay, we've got Perthrone that's come out in the reverse, and the Well of Weird that doesn't come out in the reverse. It's non-reversible. This is really, really interesting. Pile 1, it feels like there is this change of fate, change of circumstances, a feeling of opportunity, perhaps a feeling of a need for change or of grasping some kind of dream, but a restriction here on whether or not you want to take a chance. It feels like you do not want to take a chance, if I'm quite honest, or there have been circumstances or feelings I'm getting, maybe a sense of anxiety, holding you back. So this could be anything from potentially looking at a different job. So I'm just going to adjust the lighting because that is crazy. There we go. Sorry about that, pile 1. There could be this feeling of, I'm going to take that light as a sign because it's really weird that it did that. Maybe absolute and utter overwhelm, if I'm honest with you. Maybe things feel really, really intense for you. And it feels like you just don't want to upset the apple cart at the moment. You do not want to do or try anything else at the moment. And what I'm getting here is that fate will always nudge you, destiny will always call you. You know, if things are coming up or coming through for you right now, it could well be because there is this desire within you to change and to do something different. And what we do is we go into our own heads and we give ourselves every reason why we can't do something, every reason why things will go wrong. And we kind of, in our own thoughts, in our own minds, talk ourselves out before we've even tried. So this is a very strong reminder, pile 1, that if there are things that you want to do, they want me to go here first, sorry. If there are things that you want to do, try and pull yourself to a point of why it is you want to do it. You know, this is my dream. This is what I believe is destined for me. This is why I think it is for me. This is why I want to experience this. This is why I would love to do this. This is why I think I would be great at this. Sit down and write a list of all the things that could go right. Something, it sounds really, really simple, but it's something that so many of us don't do often because we're constantly in the state of feeling like expecting everything to go wrong. And I'm sorry, I've got this beautiful piece of labrador right here, and it's just, I don't even think you can see it. The flash on this is amazing, and it's just really shining where it was. So I'm just going to bring it onto the table. So that's a little message for anyone that needs to for some assistance for connecting with their intuition. I'm not going to take those because I hadn't asked a question yet. Connecting with their intuition. Let's bring the energy through for you. The Maiden. Yes. What does Pile 1 need to know most of all right now? Interesting. We had those flip over, and I'm just going to take it like that. There is a very, very delicate balance of energies here. This is a really beautiful feminine energy, and it's a very graceful presence. Now, this kind of energy, it's interesting because you've got the Maiden who is completely carefree. Completely carefree. So the Maiden is not going to be in the state of completely worrying about everything that can go wrong. Quite the opposite. She's skipping through the forest looking at white rabbits and roses with butterflies flying around her head. You know, I doubt many of us can recall the last time that we felt that carefree. And yet, the Queen of Water, you know, very much governs our emotions, our sense of empathy. And you're being told that there is a lot of emotion coming up for you right now, is what I'm getting. There is a lot of emotion coming up for you right now. And for some of you, there is this instinct, and it's a very protective, subconscious, natural instinct to focus on the dominant negative emotions that are coming up. The fear, the lack, the things that could go wrong, why I can't do this, why this isn't going to work out, this didn't work out in the past, all of the old stories that we have experienced that quite justifiably form the basis of our next actions and our experiences moving forwards. But with this isn't the only emotions, these aren't the only energies arising within us. And they're wanting you to really look at all of the energies arising within you. You've got 2 cards here with sea turtles on. There is a very strong, so you could well be a water sign, because I am getting a lot of water and emotional energy. We've got Cancer here very, very strongly, but with this connection to the ocean, it feels very, very transformational. It feels very much like allowing for some of these challenging, I want to say challenging, I don't want to call them negative, because that instantly conjures up ideas that they're bad, but some of these challenging emotions are coming up just to be experienced and felt. And we can ask ourselves, okay, but what is it you're wanting to show me? Thank you for coming up right now, because I know you're trying to show me where I'm holding myself back. Because equally, if there is this desire to do something new, to try something new, to experience something new, whether this is something that you might have experienced before in a way that you didn't like, but now want to experience it in a way that feels more destined. And I'm trying to be very general here to not pigeonhole people, but if you want to experience something that you've never experienced before, these old emotions could be arising to give you the opportunity to look at them differently. We can't control everything, but the full moon, we've got the triple goddess moon on here, and it's just dangling from her fingertips. This is a reminder to let go. This is a reminder to let go of the need to know all of the answers before we step out and try things. Sometimes things will work out, sometimes things will not work out, but we have to try in order to experience, in order to progress. Because if we're not trying, if we don't put ourselves out there, we're staying still. And it feels very strongly like they want you to put yourself out there, Pile 1. But they also want you to free yourself. What the message you need to know right now is, in order to put yourself out there, it might be letting go of an old story that is still running the show in your life. Because I don't want you to feel like you've got to rush into action. Yes, other people's shitty opinions. Pile 1. 7 of Wands here, the 10 of Swords in the reverse and the 2 of Swords in the reverse. Clearly decide here that you are going to end this cycle, that you are going to end the cycle of allowing the weight of other people's opinions to weigh heavy on you, to allow those experiences of the past to dominate and control your next actions, and to make you feel small, to make you shrink yourself, to make you shrink your dreams. Clearly decide with the Two of Swords in the reverse. Tell your reality, tell yourself, no, we are no longer doing this. We are no longer selling ourselves short. We are no longer cutting ourselves off, because I am worthy of going out and experiencing this beautiful, blissful life, or experience the way I want to experience it. And it could be anything from a literal experience, a visit, a trip somewhere, to an entire new way of life, a job, a relationship, rebirth within a relationship, you know. But in order to do that, you have to choose what it is that you want, and trust that it is your voice and your belief in yourself that will assist in creating that experience within your life. You do have power. It's a message that I give at the beginning of all of my readings, personal or general. You have the power to create and to change the course of your life in any which way you so choose. I want to get one more for pile one, please. Okay, two more. Yeah, the Eight of Pentacles and Judgment in the reverse. Seriously, the work here for you is going to be not allowing other people's opinions and judgments, past judgments. For some of you, okay, this is really, really specific. This will not be for all of you. For some of you, you feel like there is a past. There's two messages. The more general one is there are situations from your past which you feel are going to prevent you from taking action or achieving something, physically being able to do something. The more specific message, and this might just be for one person out there, and tell that person, if they need to hear this, they will receive this message. There is some kind of literal judgment, maybe a criminal record, some kind of official judgment against you that you feel is going to prevent you from doing things, but that might not necessarily be the case, and you are not going to know until you try, until you start putting the work in both cases, but especially in the case of the former. In the case of the latter, you know, you're not going to know until you do some inquiry. So don't write yourself off before you've even looked into it. In the case of the former, if you were just worrying about the past, or just worrying about experiences from the past, feeling you can't do something, you put the work in for you. Yes, the kind of personal work can take time, but it builds our belief in ourselves, and that is always worth the investment. Just going to get some runes over the top here. One of my favourite rune sets from Thoughtless Workshop. Yes. Inspiration. Sevilla at the very top here. Follow your passion. Follow your joy. Follow the inspiration that comes through. Things can be catalysts in the strangest of ways sometimes. If you have been... There can be endings, arguments, conflicts, a situation all of a sudden that you just feel like you've outgrown, and you go, no, do you know what? I am stepping into this new thing. I am ready for this new thing, because there is definitely passion or inspiration that has risen from within you. And I feel like if you're feeling like you are blocked, or for some reason you can't achieve it in any way, it's simply for the fact that you are either telling yourself you're not worthy, with Fehu in the reverse here, or perhaps there's a financial restriction upon some of you. You perceive that there's a financial restriction, a reason that you might not be able to train, or some such thing. But you're being told to look beyond your circumstances, because you're not seeing beyond the literal right now. And if we're telling ourselves all the time that a situation is so fixed and it's never going to change, then sure as hell, yeah, we're not going to experience any change. We've got Hagalaz at the bottom here, and one of the pieces of artwork I shared this week was all about embracing the chaos of change sometimes. That is a very necessary energy within our lives. Perthrow in the upright, definitely embracing that element of risk within our life. Now, I say that very cautiously, because I realise what I just said. But risk for some of us could be as much as sending a text message. It could be doing a job application. It could be posting something on social media that makes us that shows off our work or something like that. I remember how vulnerable I used to feel when I first started sharing my artwork. Risk is very much a subjective experience. I'm not talking about gambling here. I'm not talking about doing anything risky. I would not advocate that. So please don't take it as that. But it's remembering that you will have blessings coming in. We've got Gibu here landed over the Eight of Pentacles, and it certainly feels like you are worth the investment. You are worthy of putting your time and effort and energy into yourself, into your personal growth, because I feel like you may well have neglected yourself a little of late. For some of you, it's been a lot longer journey than that, and now is the time that you're going to make this progression into back into yourself. And this is a journey back into yourself, of self-discovery, back into what you want to do. And it just feels like a really beautiful opportunity of realization, of reconnection with yourself, and seeing where you can see things differently within your life and opportunities. Pile 1, I hope this assists you. Personal readings are available. All of my information is in the description box below or available on my Etsy. But thank you so much for being here, just sending all my love, and I hopefully will see you in another reading. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi there, Pile 2. Thank you so much for being here today. You were drawn to this piece of clear quartz. So, as always, please only take the messages that resonate. This won't be for everybody. I'm a firm believer, and the intention of my readings is always to offer you the guidance that you need in the moment right now to make the most empowered decisions you can to move forwards. Nothing is set in stone. You have great and immense power, Pile 2. Let's see what messages you need to hear right now. And as always, personal readings are available. I might just have to keep fiddling with the lighting because I move my hands around a lot and it changes the lighting. Hell and Athala in the reverse. Okay, instant heavy energy for some of you. Some of you, there has been a loss of some kind. Hell is the guardian of what we would call the Nordic underworld, but it's basically anyone who passes over that isn't a warrior, that doesn't die in battle, goes there. So it contains a vast majority of people. It's not a bad place at all, and certainly not likened to Christian hell in any which way. For some of you, I'm getting this strong sense of a feeling of loss for somebody that might have passed over. That won't be for all of you. That might just be for one of you. But there is a feeling here, a more general feeling of needing to let go now. Needing to let go of something that you thought was destined, something that you thought or expected to be a permanent fixture in your life, perhaps. As always, only take this if it resonates. It was very, very interesting. So, Pile 2, this is feeling very, very specific. I mean, if you feel inclined to stick around and to hear this one out, then do feel free. I know some of you watch all of the piles, and that's absolutely okay. But please, if it doesn't sound like a message for you, you do not have to take it. I'm not here to tell you how your life is. This is just a read of current energy. You could be feeling like there is something that you've held on to for a really, really long time that you are really, really ready to let go of. And the beauty in letting go is that it allows you to transform. It feels like you are ready to transform into something new, into a new phase of life. It feels like a very, very beautiful new beginning comes, but it does involve the letting go of something that could have been holding you back. Now, this could be old energy, old beliefs. It could be addictions, habits. It could be a past relationship. It could be a past job. Something that has been in your life for a long time. And that's why I bring up addictions and states of being, states of mind. We hold on to thoughts about ourselves sometimes from our earliest childhood, and we never realize how it forms that youngest understanding of self, our belief in who we are and all that we are. And these things can follow us well into our adult life. But it very much feels like now this is an invitation to let go. This is being filmed around the time of the full moon, so you could be feeling very, very inclined to let something go, to do a release, to write it all down, write down the old story about something, burn it in the fire if you feel so inclined. What does pole 2 need to know right now? What does pole 2 need to know right now? Okay. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. There has definitely been something that's weighed really, really heavy on you. And it's interesting because it wasn't just a heart heavy, it wasn't just a heart chakra heavy weight. It actually felt a lot of crown energy. So it also almost feels like some of you have felt really, really lost on your way. For some of you, you might have been feeling really, really disconnected from your faith, from your spirituality, from a religion if you have one. You could have felt like you've been called away from your path, or you felt disconnected from your path and you weren't exactly sure where it is you're supposed to be going or what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And there's this sense of emotional imbalance here. And I don't want to say that you're emotionally imbalanced. That's not what I mean at all. But it feels like there have been mixed emotions all over the place. I feel like some areas of life might have been going really, really well for you. And I feel like on the surface, I'm getting really strong earth energy, Virgo, Taurus energy here in particular, if those two signs mean something to you. It feels very, very much like you, on the surface, everything looks like it's, you know, great. And it's not to say that it isn't, but there is this layer of underneath emotionally. There is something that has been upsetting you, or I don't want to say eating away at you because that sounds all consuming, and I genuinely feel like you have a really good handle on pretty much everything in your life, pile 2. It just feels like there is this undercurrent of emotions. And this is something that you've perhaps ignored for a while. I'm getting Sagittarius vibes, Scorpio vibes as well. Something that you might have kept in the dark within yourself. Something that you've just not wanted to process, to bring up, or to even think about. And I appreciate this is really quite deep. But it feels like anything that's coming up for you, if something has triggered this, I think this is the thing. It's that energy of something that hasn't been brought to the surface in a very long time, and it feels like something may well have triggered it. And what it's asking you to do is to really, it could be time to release and to heal some of this energy. So there could be a definite thing that needs to be done, or more. Oh, okay. This makes more sense. For some of you, this is something that you did. I get visuals, so I get very visual, a literal visual image sometimes. And for some of you, what I'm getting is this is something that you perhaps said did, but I'm getting that did maybe. And I don't think it's a really, really bad thing, but it's something that you've held on to a lot of guilt or blame for. And what they're saying is this is imbalanced. The punishment, this is a sense of self-punishment. You are punishing yourself for something long in the past. And it's like, if I just keep working, if I just keep doing, I will get to the point where I will have justified what I've done, I will have earned, I will have paid off, I will have balanced the scales. And what they're saying is, no, the only scale that needs to be balanced is within you. Offer yourself the forgiveness that you need in order to move forward and to be exactly who you are supposed to be. You are worthy and you are good enough right now. Obviously, if there is somebody that you need to apologize to and you feel so inclined to do so, then offer that apology. If for some reason this person has passed over and you cannot offer them an apology, then put it out as an intention to your God's guides, ancestors, to spirit, to whoever you connect with, if you believe in anything, or even write it as a letter and write down your feelings, write down your apology, write down the conversation that you wished you'd had with this person, and allow yourself to go through the process and intend that somewhere on another plane of existence, somewhere, seeing as all energy and spirit is eternal, that they will receive that. in the hopes that you finally give yourself the freedom and the forgiveness that you so deserve. Pile 2, this is super deep. Super deep. As I said, I always seem to say that at the beginning, and I never catch it in myself until I've got into the reading. I'm like, oh, well, that's why. You know, if this won't be for everybody. So it might not be the pile for you today, but if it is, then, you know, thank you for being here. I hope you receive the messages that you need to hear to assist you. Yes. Oh, the world on its side and the Three of Swords on its side. There is definitely some kind of heartache that you are still holding on to, and it's asking, the fact that these have both come through on their sides, which is really interesting. It's saying now that this cycle can be completed. Holding on to this past pain will just perpetuate this cycle infinitum. You will just keep going through these experiences over and over. So something needs to change, and something within you are the transformation. You can be the change and say, okay, I know this has happened. I appreciate this as a pattern. I know where it's come from, and I'm ready to end this now. I'm ready to no longer perpetuate this cycle, and I'm going to stop it by doing something different. And that can be a radical act of forgiveness of self, of somebody else. But I really do get quite strongly, it feels like you are holding on to something within yourself that you are ready to let go of. That's flown on the floor. Let me pick it up. So interesting, it landed like that as well. The Six of Pentacles speaks of balancing the scales. Again, I don't feel like you need to beg for anybody's forgiveness. I'm sorry, that's a really specific message again. I feel like you need to forgive yourself. You need to balance these scales within yourself. You cannot receive from anyone else what you cannot first experience within yourself. The Page of Wands and the Fool. Because on the other side of this, as heavy as this reading sounds, is the promise of a brand new beginning, an opportunity to follow a new path. This really feels like a huge emotional, energetic release for you. This act of self-forgiveness, okay, I appreciate, I'm quite an intense reader. I'm an intense emotional feeler. I'm feeling the energy of the collective energy that this pile will speak to. This could be beating yourself up about having a cigarette, about doing something that you feel like you shouldn't have done. Maybe it was something that you did. Maybe you stole a packet of sweets when you were 6. I don't know. Something like this. But it's amazing how our brains hold on to these stories. I'm just going to fiddle with the light, sorry. It's amazing how our brains... Oh, no. Come on. It's amazing how our brains hold on to these stories, and then we, on a very subconscious level, beat ourselves up about things. What it feels like, I mean, those are just two very small examples, of course. If you are still here, if you're still watching this right now, I'm intending that you finally get the release and the freedom emotionally and the forgiveness that you deserve, because everybody deserves peace, and that you get this new beginning, this new opportunity, because absolutely this process is the precursor, or is simultaneously saying, I'm stopping this old pattern because I have a brand new journey to embark upon, and this is really exciting. I am following my joy. I am following my passion. Whatever lights me up, whatever's exciting me here with the Page of Wands, because he's known as a very particular type of card because he's holding his wand. You know, you follow this. You follow what's inspiring you, and don't tell yourself that you don't deserve it or you can't have it. You know, you do. If you look at these two people, both this Page and the Fool, they look really similar, and you know, the Fool has a single one there. So this is giving me big Ace of Wands energy. There is potential for a brand new beginning here after this release, or in the same process. It's just, I don't want to say that you've got to go through a big ceremony, ritual, or process in order to get this new beginning. It could be just a decision, a split second of going, no, do you know what? I can do this. I can have this. I believe it. I deserve it. I'm worth it. It can just be that energy, like a click of a fingers. It doesn't have to be really long and drawn out, pole 2. Yeah, look at that. Now there's enthusiasm at the very top over hell. It is allowing for endings, for the death of the old self to allow for the birth of the new self. And it's following this passion, the need fire that arises. You are ready for a new beginning. Seeds that have been long planted, I feel. And I feel like you're just beginning to realize that you do deserve them and that you are worthy of them. And that feels like the major message for here, pole 2. Whatever this past is, whatever you are holding on to, has served its purpose. It has probably taught you an awful lot, but you are ready to embark upon the next phase of a journey now, and that is truly exciting. Pole 2, I hope this assists someone, and I hope it makes sense to you. Personal readings are available, but sending you all my love. It is an absolute pleasure, and I will hopefully see you in another reading. Take care. Either pole 3, if you're drawn to this pole, then this is your reading. As always, please only take what resonates from you for you from this reading. I will always deliver the messages that come through with the intention that they're a read of the current energy, not a hard and fast prediction about the future. You have the power to create your future in any which way you choose. That is your right and your ability. So let's get into it. This is messages I need to hear right now. We've got Friskid and Thor. Interesting. Okay, pole 3. This is calling you very much to your own sacredness, to a phase of personal healing. It feels like taking a rest in order to find your strength, which might sound counterintuitive because I'm getting that for many of you, you really want to do something right now. There is something very physical, tangible, doable that you want to go out and get your teeth into. It feels strongly like taking action, of stepping into a very strong masculine energy regardless of any kind of gender. Sorry, just fiddling with the camera again. It feels like you taking charge. However, I feel like you're feeling a bit depleted already. So the message here is, yes, this is going to happen. We see that there is all this actionable stuff that's going to get done. In this moment right now, you need to find some peace, some solace, and some healing. Now, this could be a good night's sleep. This could be a weekend of restoration. For some of you, it could be going and taking a walk in a place that you feel really connected to your gods, guides, ancestors, spiritual beings, to the landvetter, whatever it is that makes you feel at peace. That is that. That is where you're being called right now. And it's a brief pause. It's not a permanent lull. For some of you, you could be feeling under the weather at the moment. You could not be feeling very well. And this is not to say that this is the end of the story. It's not that you're going to feel this way forever. They're literally, you are taking a pause. There is a sense of restoration that occurs in the gentleness of that healing space that allows you to restore your energy and gather your strength for this mission that you're about to embark upon, because it feels like you've got big things to do and you're a bit annoyed that you're being held back a bit. Let's get some cards for you. Pile 3, please. What does pile 3 need to know right now? Ooh. That's a lot of cards. Going to take them that way. Interesting. Okay. There has been some kind of inner conflict, I'm getting. The way in which you're seeing something, it's almost like there might have been actual conflict in your world between you and somebody else, between you and yourself. And it feels like you were conflicted about maybe exposing or sharing or expressing a really true or deep part of yourself. I'm sorry, this lighting is crazy today. The camera keeps adjusting all by itself. It feels very, very much like you are being guided to delve to new depths of your most authentic self. And I feel like this is what's going to occur in this period of respite and healing. And like I said, if I say period, I don't want you to think, oh my God, I'm going to be laid up for weeks. It could be a walk. It could be a meditation. That moment of peace, respite, connection with this divine and sacred space, both within you and outside of you, it will elicit the desired response. You will know where that is and how long that will take for you, because you need to come back to balance here. You've been doing a lot of work on yourself, and you were quite good at balancing your masculine and feminine energies, I'm getting here. But with the Mother in the reverse, I'm getting there is this sense of self-nurturement and fulfillment that you have been not so much stepping into. It's saying that you need to slow down a little bit. And I instantly heard, I don't know if you guys are fire signs, I instantly got no. I don't think you like slowing down. I think you like being on the go. But the Mother in the reverse is literally saying, you need this moment. You never know what wisdom is going to come through in those moments where we find stillness within ourselves. And it can be really, really powerful. And this gift of perception here is what is going to change. Now, this could be a shift in self-perception. It could be a shift in perception, something that you see in the outside world around you. And considering we've got this thought energy here, it's almost like you are so set and ready to take action. Oh, there's a second message here I'm going to deliver to you in a second. For some of you, you're just so set and ready to take action. But what you need is, or what is going to occur, what might be beneficial for you to occur, is to take this moment of pause. And it might just shift your perspective. It could be minutely. You could do something, a fragment of a tiny bit differently, and have the most incredible result that you weren't expecting. The second message that I got is there is some kind of rising conflict between you and somebody else, and you're being guided here to take a moment to pause and to really calm yourself before you get involved with a conflict, an argument. This could be somebody on the street. I'm just getting, if you catch yourself and you're about to fly at somebody, do take a moment and maybe pull it back a bit. Take a moment, do some deep breathing, do some breath work, do something. And just gauge with this perception card here, whether or not, and this this 5 of air, am I being my most authentic self in this moment? Am I being my best self? Am I giving way to some kind of, you know, energy argument that I really don't need to be involved in? Now, I'm a firm advocate for standing our ground, instilling boundaries, stepping up, and sometimes we do have to be embodying in that energy. However, it is also counterproductive at times. And the gift of perception here comes from a moment of pause before we take action. That is the key message of this reading. Let's get some more cards for you. For some of you, if you are having some physical issues at the moment and you're going through a phase of physical healing, it is to restore your energy, to rebalance your energy in some kind of a way, and to try and see the experience differently. See it as an opportunity. Don't fight with yourself. Don't fight with your body. Allow it to do what it needs right now to heal, and you will hopefully, I hope that you heal very, very quickly. Okay, I'm going to take the top 2, which is really interesting. We have the Ace of Cups, the King of Cups, and the Judgment. So obviously we see these 2 cards and we instantly go into love reading mode. To pull it out of love reading mode, because none of this reading has felt very much about a love reading. This is the potential to really master an emotional side of ourselves, or master on an emotional level how we see our energy and our expression of who we are within the world. We can see ourselves, perhaps if we are male or very masculine, we feel like the most beneficial expression of our energy that defines us, that expresses who we are, that gives us a sense of emotional fulfillment and identity, is by being in this thought energy and being the masculine and putting our energy out there. And it could be, this could be for, regardless of gender. It is that outer expression of who we are is so strongly governed by the way in which we think the world perceives us, that the minute we suddenly can't appear or perform in a certain way, this is that mask, we feel like suddenly we've lost our identity. And this is remembering that the true identity is found in all shades and facets of self. Don't be at conflict with yourself. The true mastery of a king and the King of Cups is understanding all the emotional aspects of our being, understanding how they co-create, understanding how they cooperate, and having this new emotional beginning within ourselves where it's okay to not be in this on-the-go energy all of the time. You know, allow this judgment of self to ease off. And I'm not saying that you can just switch it off. I appreciate that, because we get very ingrained in our ways of being and our actions. But it very much feels like there's potential for a really, really deep re-understanding and reconnection with yourself. Letting go of another layer of the mask that we hold. We all have them. And it's not like we just have one. It's, you know, if we're doing our personal work, we find many, many different layers of resistance and conditioning that we shift through in cycles. This is another. And for others of you, if this situation is connected to conflict, it could be conflict with somebody you love. It doesn't have to be romantic at all. It very much feels like taking that pause and not flying off into one, whether or not it's well deserved. You being the person that goes and initiates peace, even if it's just for yourself, and saying, but you know, I saw something really valuable earlier, and it was just like, if you can't, I cannot bring my best self to this conversation right now, so I'm going to remove myself until I can. Sometimes it is that moment, that pause, and that coming back to it that gives way to the birth of something so much more beautiful, such a deep connection on the other side of it, far, you know, a really, really deep commitment and connection, both to ourselves, honoring our needs and emotions, but also valuing the other person and wanting to bring our best self to the table. Let's get some moves. Yeah, there could have been some really difficult, there could have been a lot of conflict in some relationships, so this certainly could relate to other people. And if that is the case, then this is really saying, remember what is important in this commitment, in this relationship, in this connection, whether it is romantic or family. What is more important? If it's really, truly important, let's not repeat the old patterns, the old cycles, and let's not get into a rage and say awful things to each other. Perhaps, maybe, just maybe, we can find a different way of communicating with one another with answers and Athala here. It's remembering what's important. With Aras and Daggers over this, and Pethra, Isa on the side, and Gibu over the Ace of Cups. This is literally saying to me of the potential for this. It's amplifying the Ace of Cups, a potential for a new cycle to begin, a new phase of life. When I say cycle, it's deepening on the spiral of our personal growth, stepping into a new phase of our life within our current life, a new level of emotional awareness, allowing for change. And here we have Hagalaz over Thrithgid. So in those quiet moments, you might think nothing is changing at all. Nothing. But what you can't see is all of the deep emotional processes with the King of Cups and the Ace of Cups here that are going on. And there are blessings in those. Sometimes there needs to be an air of space, breathing space. Sometimes there needs to be an air of clarity between you. Sometimes then you need that for yourself within your daily life, not connected to anybody else, in order to see the blessings, in order to reconnect, in order to receive the wisdom and the intuition that you need. And from that place, you find your strength. From that place, you decide what action you're going to take. And when you do that, when it comes from a place of calm, of not being impulsive or reactive, but making a calculated risk, gamble, calculated chance, I want to say, not risk or gamble. I don't like the word risk. A calculated gamble. Sometimes when we do that, we get the most fantastic results. And sometimes that gamble is deciding to do things differently when we've done things the same way our whole lives. And sometimes that's just choosing peace or quiet or a moment to gather our thoughts. Part 3, I really intend that this assists and reaches whoever needs to hear this. Personal readings are available. Just sending you all my love, and thank you so much for asking me to read for you. Take care.